Joanne.
Uh, oh. Good morning, guys. My name is Daniela Cherono,
My name is Grace Zawadi,
and here is your recap of Engage Season 3 with the theme.
empowering youth for godly prosperity.
We had a lot of wonderful topics yesterday, from financial development uptake, visionary leadership, and economic empowerment. We started off with a warm welcome from our pro-host, Reverend Canon Evans Omolo, and it was such a wonderful experience. And Zodi, what was most interesting for you?
When for youth, especially with the current economy, things are getting harder, and the future is not as promising as the future doesn't seem as promising. So we were asking on how we can keep up with the futuristic trends, and Peter spoke about diversification. You can learn different types of skills, and especially now the fact that agribusiness and technology are coming up quickly, we can see that clearly in the future they'll be like more, famous. And it's nice to learn a lot of technological skills, especially since online we can find them for free in various sources. Yeah, the other thing is adapting to changes constantly and being ready to adapt to anything that comes up. Yeah, so I think a lot of youth should, keep up with the innovative trends. Yeah.
Something that really stood out for me was the 4 C's of accessing finance: character, capital, and collateral and conditions. This was very interesting to learn and know. And I hope today you brought an open mind to learn more and to engage with our various speakers, because we had really wonderful speakers yesterday.
And also, something interesting that was said by Japheth is you should seek to be wealthy, not rich. Because rich nowadays, rich is referred to as wash. And that's easy money. So easy come, easy go. Seek new opportunities and build on what you already know, or build on solid things so that you can, build on something that's actually solid. Yeah.
A firm foundation.
Yes.
And how God plays a really important role in our finances and in everything that we do. And from Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you. And definitely when your plans are founded on God, definitely when you labor in the Lord, you don't labor in vain.
Exactly. And in the second session, we were talking about visionary leadership. We had a beautiful speaker who was introduced to us. Her name is Marion Karanja, and she's a woman in STEM. Since I'm in STEM, she's the principal tech solutions engineer of technology solutions engineer, and she's worked for Oracle and Microsoft, and those are really big software companies. And she talked about how to approach your goals through networking with people, seeking new opportunities, again, just the normal points. And she emphasized on building your relationship with God, because especially with the current things going on, it's easy to fall into this traps of instant gratification just because you want money quickly. And if you do honest work, you can sleep in peace knowing that there's no guilt for something you've done. You're not scared that you're gonna be arrested. So just build on your relationship with God. Yes.
For today, have your notebook in check, your mind in check, and remember, your network is your net worth. Have a lovely day today. Thank you.
Did you carry any takeaway here? Like fried chips and chicken? Yes. The need to save. What is it? From and saving, from yesterday's session, how much of your, maybe in percentage, what percentage would you like be saving as at yesterday? Because you see, like the fire was rekindled just yesterday. How much do you foresee, what percentage do you foresee yourself saving? Okay, okay. As you're meditating on that, welcome, Michelle. We knew you were coming and reserved a special seat for you here, right behind our facilitators. Let's all clap for Michelle. Media team? Good. So we're going to start off our today's session as we continue with the journey of learning how to gain more muscles in terms of prosperity and in a godly way. And the age sector is our target age is anyone who knows their youth. We can even extend it to 40, from 18 when you start earning. Nowadays, people are even starting earning from 15. Yeah, you find like you're 8, you're 15, you have a YouTube channel, yeah, and you're earning. So all of that is our target market. So I'll call upon our beloved Pastor, Reverend Ignatius Malimo, to start us off with a word of prayer.
We can stand. As good Anglicans, you can sing, "What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our sin, as we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Gracious God and Father, we thank you so much for this second day that you have given us. And so, Lord, we pray that you will continue to open our hearts, our intellect, that we may learn through the speakers and facilitators of the day. We pray and commit the program to your able hand. We commit those who are still on the way coming, those who have plugged in online, that, Lord God, through the lessons we learn, we shall grow in our ways, in our lives, godly prosperity. And so, Lord, we thank you because you're here, and may you use each one of us to grow. And now start us off with your blessings in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. God's people say, God's people say, amen. Amen. It's like this, like this, like this. Yes. So back to you, Charity.
Thank you so much. And goes without saying that I had not even introduced myself. You may have your seats gladly. Thank you. This is Charles Watoro, and I'm glad to be here for the second day. Was here for a short time yesterday, but now I'm here full day. So yesterday we were just unlocking and starting off with our session now, as we covered about Yes, as we covered the different aspects in with regards to empowering youth for godly prosperity. And as we have just recapped on, a few of you have mentioned what their take home was, what their takeaway were. And we were discussing two topics. One of the topics was a financial development uptake. If you have not watched that, you can see that on our YouTube channel. We also had a TED kind of talk session where we had two panelists and a moderator. We had Carol Ngato, and we also had Mr. Japheth, and we are doing a very good exposition. So today, we have a very interesting program lined up for you, and the first one will be introduced by Kevin, and that will be right after this. How many times have you found yourself running late to work? Let me see that by a show of hands. How many times? Let's be honest, we are in church. My hand shouldn't be up. How many times have you found yourself getting late to work? Shungaji, we have only two honest people. 3. So I'm running to work. I'm running too late. Yesterday I was late. Maybe I'm not running to learn. I'm learning too slow. I need to unlearn this so I can learn right. Right? Light is at the end of the tunnel. There is hope. I might get there in time. This is our prayer anytime we are late, and the conversation that goes through us as we are internalizing what the boss will say, or what your seniors will say at work, or what your clients will say now that you didn't keep time. So financial portfolios, financial literacy, financial freedom, financial management, financial conversation don't top the list of the most interesting conversation that we want to hear. I wonder if it ever makes it to the list. We only hope to experience the results of a conversation that we don't want to hold. Sounds like wishing to get married and never wanting to date. Most of us wish we could listen as we speak, walk while we wait, smile while we yawn, earn as we spend. But guess what? We spend as we earn. Sometimes we spend before we earn. Then soon after we are in debt, we join a learning class, though we drop off soon as we start learning. Soon as we start earning, we drop off the class, and the cycle goes on. Talk of the unbudgeted black tax that I have to pay. Yes, I really want to help, but I find it so hard to say no. Yes, we really want to solve all the problems on this world, but remember, you're just a human. You're not Jesus. You're not God. Without bending the rules, you still can make it. It doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to be fast, but it has to be right. So we find ourselves in a generation where we just want things to happen so fast and so quick. Someone called it the microwave generation, and it is what it is. We are not loyal to the process, but we should be loyal to the process. In the process of building substantial repetition, relationship skills, relationship learning, you'll have to put up the skills, and you'll have to put up your skills so that they can be visible. So if you look at that camera guy, if you look at, they did something that was noticed, that they can do this, and then someone noticed that. They might not be noticed at first, but at the end of it all, when we trust the process, it will pay off. So at this point, I want to call upon Kevins, who will introduce our speaker, our first facilitator for today, this morning. So Kevins, and we can give him a loud of applause as he comes onto the stage. Thank you so much, Kevins. Yeah, we can do that until he gets here. It feels motivating. Keep doing it. Keep doing it way now. Thank you so much, Kevins.
Charles, sunifundishe spoken word. Huh? Can we give him some round of applause? Is that really enough for him? Yeah. Let's give Charles his flowers when he's still present. Yesterday was a good day. For those who missed, yesterday was a good day. Let me just see, rain check. Who was there, who wasn't? Percy, your flock did not come back, so it's all right. So let's see how today turns out. If they're seeing me through this particular channel, today's episode meant to be about 5 hours, a big picture in terms of what setting ourselves towards financial prosperity is. We explored a bit of challenges that also do come into place and how we need to navigate them. I know, yes, our session today was meant to start at 9:15. We are about 1 hour, 33 minutes late, but we are asking God for his grace and favor that will take us through until the tail end to this. To get us up started on our day 2 is a session focused on inclusion and the journey of resilience. I know after that, there's meant to be one centered on cultivating partnerships. And of course, also we'll be looking at a segment on utilizing information technology for visionary content, leadership, and economic empowerment. And last but not least on the day is going to be one on unlocking capital. And as Japheth did mention unto us yesterday that it takes discipline and resilience to really just cut across. Japheth is going to be on that session of unlocking capital for young entrepreneurs. And for those who are present and those who are not present yesterday, remember Japheth talked about 30 years of experience within the banking industry. What does it really take to build that resilience that just makes you do about 30 years in your career? But then, let's go on to today. Inclusion, resilience. I am proud to say that I know the lady who's going to come in next here on stage. I'm genuinely proud to say that I've encountered Ashura. I know very well for a fact that she is a great woman who embodies just the desire to keep on pushing and the desire to keep on going. I didn't have any idea in terms of who could be this great person who could just usher us through in terms of what the journey of resilience and inclusion is. And I know today we are honored to have her here on stage. I know probably it's 2 years down the line, I've disappointed her. I haven't subscribed to sign language classes, but she's also just done me justice by also just teaching me what it means to be an inclusive, all-rounded individual who can just interact with diverse groups. I know at some point she was calling herself Mama County. Probably in this particular session, let's get to see what she's going to say about that. But ladies and gentlemen, can we just do our hands as we bring Ashura up on stage for her to usher us into this next 1 hour conversation that's going to be focused on resilience and what it really means to be inclusive. Ashura, the stage is yours. Let's just encourage her up as she gets on stage. Yeah.
She's requesting if she can be brought forth. Stand. Todd. So don't worry, I'm short and I know that, but anyway. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
First of all, I'd like to thank Kevins, for the honor and as well for the pleasure of inviting me to this conference. For sure, this is one step for us to have resilience, community, and whereby we are promoting inclusion. So thank you very much. So you can carry on.
And thank you, of course, to the Cathedral Space for according her a chance to be on this particular stage. Or rather, if we're to start her up, Ashura, take us through what your journey has been. Like, how did you start? Where did you get your confidence from? And what do you yearn to see?
Thank you very much. Now this is inclusion. So you're not just speaking, but you're practicing it. Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity once again. I'll again want to greet each and everyone, all, the men, the youth who are here, Reverend, and also all the visitors who are here. I'm honestly very honored to be here at All Saints Cathedral and to this conference as well. The theme of this year is what? To motivate us and how we can prosper in a godly way. So my name is, as my friend has said, my name is Shura Michaels. Honestly, I don't know what to say. Yes, I am young and I'm a youth, just as the rest of the crowd. So my life story has both challenges and as well some successes. I became deaf when I was 4 years old through measles. And I lost my parents when I was still a young girl as well. I ended up joining the deaf school, and when I was in school, yes, I was young, and every now and then, I used to look at the young girls who were there, and we had various challenges. Some will drop out from school, will become pregnant. Then I asked myself, why are these girls dropping out from school? So there is no one who's bothered to make a change out of it. So the problem with our society, is it with our church or the society, or is it with our parents? Honestly speaking, it's sad, stressful, and as well, it gives us worry. Why am I saying this? Was it communication barrier, negative attitudes, people's perspective, or is it that the girls were not valued in the society? So let's look back. Everything happened in a godly way, right? But is the society responsible? Is the society taking its responsibility? For me, honestly, it has been very painful. It has been worrying me. And out of this, it's what made me to be motivated and have the interest of becoming a lawyer. But do you know what my family told me? You are a deaf and you will have to end up being a deaf teacher. What does that mean? My life, I was judged, my life was judged because of my physical view and because I was deaf. It was not only the community, but also my immediate family.
All right. So, John and Ashura, let's come back to the whole financial prosperity, resilience, inclusion, and how she's kept going. So that's just a context to it. Ashura, I know you've run a hotel, like literally you run a hotel as a business.
Yes, I have.
And how is it for somebody who looks at an inclusive society, a society whereby, yes, you can be deaf, but you want to work? How was it? And if you're to encourage anyone who will want to try that, what will you tell them? What did it take you to try that?
Before I answer your question, I want to say one thing. Don't pose the question to Joanne. Just pose it to Ashura, because Joanne is invisible. I'm just the voice. So I am an invisible person. Okay?
All right. Okay.
Okay. What motivated me to start the business? COVID came in 2019, right? So that time, we were not working, and each and everyone was staying back at home, right? So the time that I was staying back at home, I was thinking, hey, when you stay back at home, mental health issues might kick in. So I thought through, and I was like, rather than staying back at home, let me start off something. So the business was not easy. For you to have a successful business, you should have patience, and as well being a prayerful person. My challenges, which I faced, were the same as the other business persons do face. But as I learned, I knew that every single road has a bump, and everything that you want to do in life, you have to struggle on with it. So when you see a bump while driving, you wouldn't reverse your car, but you will just have to move on to get to your destination. Financially, marketing, I had struggle in it. And having in mind, business and friends cannot coexist. I thought my friends will support me when it came to business. Honestly, don't lie to yourselves on that. You will find strangers are the ones who will support you, and they will come with a clean heart. What does that mean? Us as the youth, everything that you're doing, what do you need to do? Try to be accommodative and be ready for anything. You should just reduce your expectations. Reason being, some things may never happen, so just be ready to welcome anything. So, and again, you should also appreciate your enemies, because your enemies are the people who will motivate your life. And I thank God, reason being, our enemies are the ones who gives us opportunity and make us to do better. Your friends, honestly, I am sorry to tell you that some will not want to see you successful. Maybe some of your friends will be like, you are doing this, and they won't take the step of supporting you. So, what am I trying to put across? Resilience and focus for you, prosperity is key.
Thank you. Ashura, so prosperity, resilience. Let me bring in education and seeking knowledge to ensure that you are empowered. I know we've shared a similar fellowship program. You have been in the States for 8 weeks pursuing knowledge, right? So what did it take you to sit down and do an application that will take you abroad to study? And for anyone watching and listening in this morning, what will you tell them is the role of education as our drive towards prosperity? Not forgetting you're still undertaking your law legal classes. So probably just explain that, and how have you been resilient enough to just ensure that you fit into these spaces and you try to also compete with the rest?
Thank you so much. With that question, I do not know where to start. I want to believe that I'm speaking to the youth. The moment you're sleeping and you wake up, anything can happen. Anything can happen. If you as a person, you don't get to grab the opportunity that is there before you. So, for sure, we are told God will help us. But you as a person, what are you doing so that you can get that help? There are so many opportunities that are out there. Education, for sure, changed my life in an immense way. So some of the people said, if you have to hide something from an African, hide it where? In a book. Why? Most Africans don't like reading books. I know reading, studying is tiresome. I know that. It is stressful as well. But you must envision the impact that will be in your life after it. For me, I'm always ready for challenges, and I'm always ready for any new opportunity that comes forward. I have applied for various foreign opportunities that were there. Not that I want to go to the outside world, but to stay there, but I've gone there to learn so that I can experience different cultures. I can get to hear different success stories and the challenges that are out there. You know, internationally, the courses that are out there, they'll be able to expose you to the world. And as a person, you can know the difference between why this place is doing better than this other place. So what do we need? Kindly, always research. So currently, we thank God because we have moved to the digital world. I don't know why young people keep saying that, oh, there is no opportunities, oh, there is no this and that. Please, kindly just stop and stop making more and more excuses. You see, if a challenge is there, use them as an opportunity. For me, I'm a deaf, and education changed my life. And as well, the society can become better through the education that we get. So I want to encourage each and everyone who is watching, be you, and pick education as the key that can open up opportunities for your life. So education has no limit, regardless of your age. So education is continuous, and opportunities are there, so pick the opportunity and pick education, for it will be a step to change your life and as well to transform our society.
Wow, the power of education to liberate our minds. Ashura, let me bring in your political aspirations, right? And bearing in mind we're talking finances, prosperity, the challenges that do come with it. How has it been for you? I mean, I know, I mean, probably for the audience sake, and this is just for learnings. I know you promised a nomination, which did not come through, right? And you decided to pursue a legal process. And kind of somehow it also weighed you down. How's that been? And for anyone inspiring to get into that space, what could be your advice to it?
Wow and wow. Every day, I know the young people say, what is politics? Stop lying to yourself, honestly, let me not. Why am I saying it? Why am I saying this? Just ask yourself, do you want an inclusive society, number one? Do you want to reduce inequality? Do you want to have affordable and quality health? Do you want good education? All of these things that I've listed down are included in politics. Why did I step into politics? Not so that I can become rich or have money or to be famous, no. It's because every day that I used to sleep and wake up, I believed that the life that I want to achieve cannot be achieved if I'm still sleeping. So I have to grab the top table and make a change. For the 59 years Kenya that has had independence, we have experienced exclusion, discrimination, and an unfair society that we are having still to date. So these are the things that motivated me to stem into politics, because I wanted best policies and ideas as well. Many people were asking me, Ashura, why didn't you pick the MP position or the women rep position? Why are you vying for the senatorial seat? I was like, so why are you leaving some other positions that you will be paid like 1 million and go and vie for the senatorial seat? But my goal was to have better policies that can change our lives, especially to the deaf persons just like me. We have been excluded for so long. As you know, our country, Kenya, we have very nice legal laws. So what happens? Uganda copies these laws, then Rwanda implements it. So what's the problem?
Is that a question for us to answer?
No. So, please, use politics as a position to change and to make this society better for you and your future generation. Don't just sit there. You are the foundation of this country. So, if we could have a poor foundation of this church, then this building could have collapsed, right? So, the task is upon you guys.
All right. Ashura, so when it comes to, I am holding that back. So when it comes to your social being with others, the way you are envisioning an inclusive world, you have previously mentioned the role technology has played in opening up an inclusive world. What would you wish to see being done? And even for such a church atmosphere, if you're given a chance to give recommendations in terms of how we can make this surrounding inclusive, what will be your suggestions or advice towards that?
Okay. Inclusion without accessibility can't work. The problem which we have with the society currently, I want to believe that this church has like over 1,000 members, right? And you know, the bigger the disability you have, the more negativity and the more attitude you get out there. So someone will be like, this is a deaf person. Which value are they bringing forth? So that's the problem, attitude. So we are the church members, right? So we need to change the attitude that we have. Do you welcome the disability people to church, or do you give them the avenue to participate in the church? Through singing, through leadership, or are they just there? Or you're just like, oh, let's pray for persons with disability. Okay, let's carry on praying. Maybe God will change them to be able to hear or whatever, but I want to tell you, inclusion is nothing if you do not accept me. I would like to mention this to you members. Kindly embrace inclusion by giving people opportunities. Secondly, disability cannot reverse. It will be there and will continue being there. So what am I trying to put across? So we must have an open mind and think much more deeper. Is our society fair? And us as individuals, what can we do to change this society to become fair? This is a question you can ask yourself. Then you can come back to church, then and see the opportunities that you can do here in church to make an inclusive world as well.
Thank you. Let me allow Ashura to just breathe in and out for a minute and ask anyone from the audience who has a question to Ashura, or if you feel like you're a champion to inclusion and you want to clarify something. Is there any comment? Any? All right, sure. I see there's, please come to the front. Who goes first? Okay. Sure, you can come to the front. I know he speaks sign, so you can translate for us. So, all right.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. First question. So the first time we meet people who have disability, so they have the agenda. What agenda do you give them? First of all, how do you transform the mindset for this person who have disability? So for the person who I know, I support them many times, but it doesn't. You understood? For how to transform this person who have disability. That's my question.
Can we do we take them all together, or you answer them one by one?
Collectively.
All right. Any other question? Any? Yeah, come. Just come close. Is there any other? Charles, you wanted? All right, sure.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Ashera. I wish to do sign language. Is it possible? Is it in church, or I must go outside and learn elsewhere?
There's one last one there. So, yeah, sure.
Hello. My name is Maureen. First of all, we have a sign language class. It's usually in January. It's a 6 months course to promote inclusivity and to interact with the deaf. We have a deaf service at 11:30 in St. Catherine. My question is, to overcome the obstacles that you have faced. I know you've talked about education, but I'm sure it's not been easy society-wise, other than just naysayers saying, being negative and telling you can't overcome. Other than that, what opportunities did you face, did you encounter because of the disability, and what can we do to make it easier for people who are disabled, or more specifically, say for the deaf people?
All right, we can answer those. We can answer those three.
Wow. I don't know how to answer my brother, Robert. Honestly, I don't know how to answer that. So that is the society that we are living in, posing to the question that you asked. But what I can say, a person with disability should be embraced, number one, should embrace themselves. And also, we should always exclude sympathy. Why am I saying this? Us, we are the problem. For example, honestly, when I'm driving or walking on the way, and then I look or I meet a person with disability begging on the road, I wouldn't even give a single shilling. Especially for a deaf person, I wouldn't. They have the legs, they have the hands, and they can work. So you guys are the problem. Stop the sympathy that you're giving. If you have opportunities there, kindly give them and let them try doing them. That's the only thing I can say. To my sister, in regards to sign language classes, there are so many training classes in Kenya. In Kenya, for sure, in Kenya, if we speak about the true curriculum of interpretation, it is not that good, because sometimes even some get certificates along River Road. So, as my friend answered that the church has classes here, I'll tell you also Nairobi University has. We have Horizon Sign Language. There are so many schools. So, but what is important, sign language is like a mathematic class. So if you have positive attitude, you'll be able to grasp it fast. If you have a negative attitude, I'm sorry. So, for example, I got mathematics E because I have a negative attitude toward it. So if I had the interest and passion, I know I could have gotten an A. So the same way with my example, if you have the positive attitude, you're good to go. I'll move to Maureen, right? Yeah, to Maureen's question. The opportunities which came in, I saw this, I took this question funny, and I felt it was funny when you were posing it, and that's why I was smiling. But it's a real question, which is a reality as well. So I thank God because my deafness has really helped me a lot. Even my friend pastor, please don't even pray for me. I just want to continue being deaf. I just want to continue being deaf. I just wish God to just retain my deafness. Like, for example, in my family, currently, I am doing better than most of my siblings. I have achieved so much through my deafness. If I was hearing honestly, I could not be on this podium. I could not have met Kevin's. Maybe I could be in the village, or maybe I could be a mother of 10 kids, or maybe 15 kids, honestly. So, currently I'm 30 years old. I don't have a baby. God has a reason as to why I am deaf, so with that. So, I went to law school, and the National Council of Disability offered me a full scholarship. Because most people end up dropping out of schools because they don't have money. What I can tell you is, disability is not a barrier. Everyone is a candidate to disability. You can wake up one day and become disabled. What is important is just accept yourself, and then you will use it as an opportunity for you. I hope I have answered you.
Thank you.
Yeah, mine is to appreciate you for your resilience. And thank you for cautioning me. I was about to pray for healing. One question that I have is, have you ever fallen into the temptation of getting rich quick through those dubious means? And by that I mean shortcuts, as these old men come to you and say, you know what, girl, I can make your life easy if you accept me to prosper you? And if so, how did you deal with it? And then number two, how has faith helped you in your journey of growing towards becoming who you want to become? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am a human being. Number two, I have experienced whatever you've spoken about already. Temptations are there. Temptations are there, especially when it comes to money, and as well aligned with politics. Honestly, to speak, money is like everything. Both men who are in politics also have experienced it already as well. How have I been able to solve it? Or rather, when I sleep at night, I keep on thinking, is it right if I partake these unclean ways? Is it sustainable? So maybe a man might come and try to convince me or persuade me, maybe want to screw me, then I end up pregnant and then leaves me. And probably he has a wife. Will he remember me tomorrow? And then you end up making a hard decision in your life. What for sure motivates me is my sister's story that motivates me. My sister dropped out of school. Some guide was able to convince her, akakuja Nairobi. When my sister had, where, Nairobi. Me, I'm living this village life. And she came to Nairobi. She was comfortable at first, gave birth to 6 kids. Where is she right now? She's back to the village. And where is the guy? He doesn't even give a hoot about her. Sometimes we end up being successful through experience of other people's. And we should always make sure and also be ready to switch your mind and make a proper decision when it comes to temptation. So, before we make quick decision, let us be able to switch our minds and think as fast as we can. As much as it's hard, kindly, let us just pray to God to help. That's the only way I can say. Yeah. Secondly, in regards to faith, the question based on faith, what gave me strength to the challenges that I face every single day? These challenges that I've been speaking about, and some I haven't, they have opened my mind. And these challenges ended up strengthening my faith. Let me say the truth, if yesterday, previously I was working with UNICEF. It has a good salary, 350 Kenyan shilling, 350,000 Kenyan shillings. So, when Raila told me, come in for campaigns. So, I thought, whatever Baba says, it's right. So, me, I left my UNICEF job and decided to come into politics. If If Baba says jump, you are like, how high? And then you forget the impact that comes with it. Currently, Raila is living in Karen. He's not paying any rent, right? But who is Ashura? I left my job. I did my campaign, Baba, Baba, Baba. Baba for president, Baba for president. It's painful, honestly, let me tell you guys. I left my job. I decided to campaign. I knew I had a sure bet that I'll get the nomination. My name was enlisted in the Senate. And who am I? I'm the next senator. How will this UNICEF job help me? I didn't know, and I don't know how my name was changed midnight, or rather a few hours to the next day to the announcement. How it happened, sijui. This person is not, the person who got the position is not even that, but I don't know how they got the position. I don't know if it was a heavenly position given, or I don't know how this person got the position. So I lost my nomination just like that, midnight. On 29th May this year, I lost 4.6 million in the court. That day was the worst day of my life. The next day after losing all that, I didn't have any friend. The next day, no one called me. No one bothered what's happening to Ashura after my loss. What does it mean? These challenges gave me strength to be more faith, to have much more faith. I decided to kneel and ask God, please. I know I have been campaigning for Raila for the longest time, but Lord, just accept me right now. Accept me now. That is it. And that's how I've sustained my faith and has been growing through the challenges that I've been going through. And this year has been the worst year of my life. The next people are like, who is Ashura? After all that campaign, you guys, who is Ashura? Because I do not have anything. Let me tell you, young people, poverty is the biggest monster in life. Nobody will listen to the poor man's advice. Nobody. So please wake up now. The only thing you can depend on is God. And be faithful. If you want to be poor, it's upon you. So whatever opportunity comes there, if you're selling warus, you go sell warus. If you're going to sell fries, you sell fries. No one will ask you, where's the money from? The only thing that people want to see you is that you're financially okay. Thank you.
Probably that will be the best place to probably sum these up. And maybe let me just give you 30 seconds to just do a parting shot and you'll get off stage, Ashura. 30 seconds for your parting shot because that's been incredible. I have no more additional bit to probably find out. Let me open that for you.
Okay. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank the church for giving me the opportunity to be here. I know I'm not the best. Senior top-notch people are out there, but you decided to pick me. So this is like an honor to me to be here. The last word that I'd like to share with you: success. Success. Prosperity. Resilience. Inclusion. Happens just like that? Nope. What do you need to do it? Oh, sorry, it doesn't happen like magic. You must be focused, determined, and guess what? Be prayerful. Without the three things I've enlisted, it is impossible to achieve. You'll be like, hey, Kevin is the best MC. If you're not focused, then you cannot get that. And if you don't have God, then you're nothing. As I step out, I want you guys to remember one thing. Be you. Just be you. You cannot be Ashura. You cannot be Michelle Obama. You can just be you if you want to be. This is a society that you're living with. The young people, remember, we are the foundation of this country. If you want a better life, a better society, go and be the change that you want to see. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ashura. Let's clap for her as she gets off. So thank you very much. Rev Iggy, where's our camera hired for us to do our memory moments on this?
Wait. Say omena. Tell her to say omena.
Thank you. For those who missed that, you can just get the retake on that particular YouTube page. Thank you very much, Ashura, once again for honoring us. It's been a pleasure having Ashura Michael here on stage. I know we are really cut off for time, but then again, this is meaningful. We'll just get to do this once in a while in a year. Allow me to probably bring upon Christabel. I saw Christabel somewhere. Oh, she. Christabel Netondo, another powerful second name that I know, the people who work within the development sector. These are the MasterCard. I'm sorry. Am I the one making you trip? Can we clap for her so that she calms down? Come on. Christabel, what's up?
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Shura. That was really, really encouraging. So, yeah, I'll take it up from there. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Christabel Netondo. I'm a member of All Saints. Professionally, I'm a gender and youth professional within the development sector, and I'm so excited to be here today. So I'll be your moderator for the second session on cultivating digital partnerships for transformative leaders, especially among young people. And with me, I have a very powerful lady who will be, she's going to be my, I don't know how you say a panelist, but she's going to be our speaker for the day on this particular session. And I'd like to invite her to the stage so that we can kick this off, perhaps in the next few minutes. Welcome. Yeah, you can have a seat. Okay. So let's have a seat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I'd like before you can get started, even as you introduce yourself. So the theme for the cathedral this year has been from Genesis 18:14, and it's been on, "Behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is there anything too difficult for the Lord?" So we've been asking ourselves throughout the year, is anything too difficult for God in everything that we've been pursuing? So I'd be curious to know from you, what have been some of the key learnings or insights you've garnered from your journey this year? So you can share that with us, even as you introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Christabel. Christabel? Yeah.
Christabel.
Good morning, church. Good morning, young people. My name is Corazon Aquino. I feel bad that I associate with being young at heart, not young by age. So I know I'm in the presence of people who are young by age, but I am young at heart, and that's a good thing. I'm currently in my last year of youth, so I'm 35 years old. So we'll soon be exiting this very great age group. In terms of what Christabel has asked, I'm coming from a very tough season. You know, life comes in seasons, right? So I'm coming from a very tough season of my life. I lost my father last year in May, and it was after a chronic illness. Towards the last month of his illness, it was really tough. Being a firstborn, of course, you bear, all the load, so everything is on your shoulder. And while you're doing that, you also have to, I come from a family of 4 siblings, so plus myself, we are 5. So you also have to, be a leader to the people, to your siblings, and also just try to ensure that there's teamwork as much as everyone is processing everything in their own way. So last year, all the way to, I think up to the end of last year, I was almost going into a depression because of that tough time, because of that loss. But my reflection so far, and I remember when I got into 2023, one of the things that I told God is, I just want to breathe. I just want to breathe and keep breathing for the rest of the year. But I'm happy to say that according to the theme that you have this year, God is a God of restoration. He's really restored me. I am thriving very much. I have learned from that experience. I have been able to walk the journey with other people who have loved ones going through chronic illnesses, have loved ones in hospitals. So the fact that my experience has led me into being a better version of myself and has also given me an opportunity to work with others is really a highlight for me. So thank you.
That's really powerful, and it's great hearing that from you. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we can get started on this, and even as we start, I'd encourage the audience, as Corazon shares with us about her work, about the thematic area we're going to discuss. You can note down your questions. In the middle of the session, we'll be able to give the mic back to the audience to ask questions or to give any comments or reflections based off her feedback. All right. Over to you. You can tell us a bit about what you do and what your background is at.
Sure. So I like to dissociate myself with my work. First of all, I am very passionate about education and young people. I do a lot of volunteers work in my home church, at home in the village. I also like, participating in activities that enable children from less resourced backgrounds to go to school. So you would find me in fundraising initiatives that support school fees drive, mentorship opportunities in high schools and in primary schools, especially in the village where I come from. And the reason I do that is they lack that opportunity in the village. I grew up in the village. And it is because my father believed in me and believed in the value of education. Not all of them have that kind of support, so I do that as Corazon. So as I said, I'm a 35-year-old who is very passionate about children and the youth, but most importantly, the issue around their education and empowerment. In terms of my career, I've been a professional for 12 years now. I currently work as a Senior Partnerships Manager with AMREF Health Africa. AMREF is a non-governmental organization, and a lot of the work we do is around public health. Before AMREF, I've had 2 roles within AMREF, as a donor relationships manager and now as a senior partnerships manager. Before that, I worked for ActionAid. I was the fundraising manager at ActionAid. And before joining the development world, I worked at NCBA Bank, just up the road. So the reason I left the bank is because I like living a life of impact, and I wanted to be in a space where, my passions are put into place, my skills and experiences are really impacting the day-to-day life of people. So that's what I do, and yeah, I'm happy to chat more about it later after the session.
Yeah, thanks, Corazon. And I'm really, really excited because of the kind of background you have, which is going to kind of feed into the conversations that you're going to have and how young people perhaps can also tap into that. So, yeah, let's get started. When we look at the theme for this year's conference on empowering young people for godly prosperity, we're looking at how can we enable young people be able to pursue economic endeavors and at the same time use whatever that it is they have gotten from those economic endeavors for godly prosperity and also to support their own livelihoods. And one thing that I've learned is that digital partnerships are one way in which young people can tap into that, making sense of the digital space, either through education or in economic endeavors. And so one thing I'd like to understand from you, and perhaps you can also share that with the audience, as a young person, how can young people leverage technology to champion visionary leadership in whichever sectors that they are in?
That's a great question, and it's also a really broad question. And there are 2 aspects to the question. One is on visionary leadership, and I'm so happy that I'm coming after Ashura. That was quite inspiring, having such great leaders in our midst. And then there's the aspect of it around digital transformation or technology and the like. So for me, I wonder what your understanding of leadership is. What do you think, what is leadership? Is there anyone in the audience who want to attempt? What is your understanding of leadership? Yes, at the back?
So hi everyone, my name is Levina. So how I understand leadership is being able to take up responsibilities without being coerced by anyone, in the sense that just being that person who takes up responsibilities. Like if you see a problem in society or any loophole that has been left behind and you feel like it's something you can do, you just go ahead and do it without waiting for someone to clap for you or to coerce you to do it. Yeah.
That's spot on, Levin. And she's mentioned problem solving. She's mentioned taking up responsibility, which really is the foundations of leadership. I'd like to add the word influence to that. Leadership is about influence. And at some point, as I close, I will ask you, who are you influencing? And even as I'm having this conversation, I want you to interrogate yourself, to introspect. Who are you influencing? In your small space, in the big spaces you are in, who are you influencing? And that is critical because that is the essence of leadership. If you're not influencing, then you're not a leader. And I don't mean that it has to be millions of people, or it could be your children at home. It could be the friends that you have. It could be the role that you're playing in church. So who are you influencing in your small or big way? Who are you influencing? And that is what leadership is about. Some of the foundational things about leadership is character. How are you showing up as a person? You know, how is your character? What problems are you solving? And now when we tie this to the digital space, for me, I believe there are immense opportunities that the digital space offers. And one of the things is we have a lot, you know, we grew up in a space when the internet technology had not advanced like it is now. But now technology has advanced and has changed the way we live our lives, the way we connect with people, the way we do business, the way we do work. And so with that, there are immense opportunities that can support your leadership journey or can augment whatever you're doing in leadership. One of them is online education. And I am a student. I call myself a lifelong learner because basically information is everywhere. On YouTube, on LinkedIn, on whatever platform that you want to think about. So how are you leveraging those opportunities online? And I'll use some examples. Personally, I've been on a leadership journey, and part of the things that I realized for me to be a great leader, aside from, you cannot influence if you don't have the knowledge. So I have been building my knowledge, and how do I build my knowledge? On LinkedIn. And some of the courses are actually free. There are so many free online courses. There are so many free webinars. You know, we used to say that conferences are expensive. I cannot afford to pay for registration. Let me tell you, almost all conferences globally, not just Kenya, have a component of virtual joining. So you can actually join, just tap and join, and be able to follow the proceedings from where you are. So really, there are no excuses. I've taken courses on emotional intelligence. I've taken courses of women and economic empowerment. I've taken courses on leadership even, on LinkedIn. All free of charge. So we as young people need to leverage the opportunities that are out there. Also in terms of even identifying mentorship, because part of leadership journey, you cannot do it alone. You need people who've gone ahead of you, people who've done it to be able to hold your hand, to act as your soundboard in terms of decision making. So you are able to identify mentors online, reach out to them, and of course, sometimes majority of them will not respond, but in some cases you find that, you know, you'll find one or two responses and you'll be able to acquire some of those mentorships. The other thing is, how do you use your digital platform? You know, I've just told you that I'm very passionate about education and young people. If we Googled your name today, if we Googled Ashura today, what do we find online? You know, on one end, you're a Christian. On the other end, you are seeing a post on Facebook. You're doing something that are not aligned to Christian. On the other side, you are... So do you have this consistent image online that if you stood up and said that I'm passionate about this, and we actually Googled your name, you know, from LinkedIn, it is the same storyline to what you're tweeting about, to what you're watching, to what you're listening to, because that is how you build your online brand and presence. So you can utilize the digital technologies to have a consistent branding that really aligns to who you are and the values that you hold as a leader. Who knows the dancing nurse? Anyone knows the dancing nurse? What do you know about her? From? KMTC. So I met the dancing nurse in Geneva. Do you know what she was doing in Geneva? She was an ambassador of the World Health Organization. What does that show us? She didn't need a title to be the best nurse, or she didn't need to be the head of that hospital to be recognized for her great nursing skills. She used the resources that she had at her level as a nurse to give exceptional experiences to children in the ward. And what she used to do is just to dance with them, you know, songs that children like. Mostly it's the Cocomelons or the gospel songs, and just record herself and put out on TikTok. As a result of that, she went trending, and even the World Health Organization recognized her efforts. And she was there at the opening of the last 75th World Health Assembly. So that is what it means. You don't have to be, You know, you don't have to have all these many resources to be as big as you can. You just need to use what you have and to be as authentic as possible. We also know about the roaming chef. He's just cooking, and you don't have to be controversial to be able to be known. Good content sells, and genuinely good content sells. So we know the roaming chef, we know the dancing nurse, we know the likes of Janet Mbugua, really using her voice and platforms to mentor young people, to be able to champion for gender equality and to be able to champion for, menstrual health products for young girls. So my call to you is you can be a leader by, number one, having an online presence that is consistent to your values and your passions, utilizing the online education resources that are there. You can also use the online platforms to get mentors and to also get people who can help you in your leadership journey. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is really, really insightful, and thanks for that. And what I'm getting is the need of using what is accessible to you to be able to brand yourself out there, and you never know whose door you might be knocking or whose your content or whatever economic activity you're doing might be lingering on. So thanks for that. It leads us to the next segment on when you look at, you've talked about digital technology and how young people can even use that as a way to brand themselves. What skills and knowledge should young people prioritize to lead? There's the visionary leadership, there's making use of digital or technology to foster partnership, but then what skills and knowledge should young people prioritize to lead?
So, of course, I would separate them into two. They're like the technical skills. You have to be digitally literate. And again, it ties back to what I was saying earlier. Some of this information, some of these courses are there on LinkedIn and on other platforms. So number one is digital literacy. You just have to know how these tools are working. There's no way you can drive a car if you don't actually go through the training. So there's opportunity for digital literacy. Of course, there are paid opportunities. There are schools, colleges that are offering those. But in case you do not have the finances to do that, there are also other platforms. Virtually, there's Coursera. And there's so many courses, online that you can take on and can teach you some of the skills that you need. Aside from digital literacy, also just tied to digital literacy is also ethical use of that digital space. I believe that life comes in two extremes. So it can be so good or so bad. So the digital space also comes in two extremes. It really has immense opportunities. But again, there's the devil in it. So if you don't use your digital platform well, then you might end up, and we've seen bullying, we've seen online bullying, so what I'm trying to say is, how do you use the digital space ethically? How do you use it for impact? How do you use it to advance whatever that you're doing? And so you need to be very much aware of some of the ethical issues within the digital space that might affect you. Of course, tied to that is communication skills. Various digital spaces comes with various communication needs. LinkedIn is all about reels and photos and those nice things. Facebook gives you a lot of leeway in terms of, descriptions and things of that kind. Twitter is different. TikTok is different. So you need to be savvy in terms of the kind of communication that is needed. So your communication skills have to really be top-notch. Aside from that, now there are the softer skills that you need. Networking. You can use digital space for networking. So how do you use digital space for networking? The other one is for thought leadership. As I've said, there are so many issues in the world right now. We are talking about climate change. We are talking about youth inclusion. Ashura was talking about inclusion of people living with disabilities. So where do you want your voice to be seen? And what can you put out there? And it has to be consistent, So you don't talk about people with disabilities today, tomorrow you're talking about climate change, the next day you're talking about adolescents. So you need to be consistent and identify your niche and try and put out content that relates to the niche that you have. And then over time, you build that profile around you such that if from the work that I'm doing, I'm looking for someone who is talking about issues of inclusion, then I will bring her. And I'm sure you brought her because you wanted also to get the diversity of voices. So in terms of thought leadership, and thought leadership is really putting your skills, your brains, your knowledge out there on a certain issue. So do you want to discuss climate change? What can youth do in terms of climate change? And as you continuously put that out there, you will get to be noticed over time and you will become an expert in that field. So yeah, those skills are really, really important. Digital literacy, ethical use of the digital spaces. I've talked about thought leadership, I've talked about networking, and I've also talked about communication skills. And lastly is to be open-minded. Really, you have to be open-minded in the world of today. Things are moving so fast, super, super fast. And it is a shame, I think we were doing some interviews a few weeks ago, and it was for a role in the digital space. This was the guy that was the top candidate from the other questions was really great, but he could not answer one question, the trends of digital platform. And he had performed so well, it is just one question that we could not reconcile why, after all these years of experience, they were not able to tell us some of the new technological advancements are out there, the likes of chatbots, artificial intelligence. And so as much as possible, I know you've gone to school, some of you have graduated or still going to school, please be a subject matter expert in your area. Learn the trends, stay curious. So it's not about what you did in school, but also how things are moving so fast. So you really, really need to stay curious. And that is really a soft skill. Ask questions. Watch beyond the local stations that we have. Watch things around tech if you're in tech. You know, what are these tech segments that talk about issues around tech? What are these health segments that talk about issues around health? What are these women empowerment segments so that you are knowledgeable in that area? It is that knowledge that will help you when you want to, you know, when now opportunities are out there and they're looking for people to take them up. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks Corazon for that, really powerful. So I'd like to give it back to the audience. We've talked about two things around the key knowledge and skills needed to perhaps unlock opportunities for young people. And we've also talked about how young people can leverage technology for that. Corazon has talked really well about personal branding and how we are positioning ourselves out there. But I'd like to give it back to the audience for any comment or questions. Charles has the mic. Yeah, there's a hand over there.
Hello once again.
Hi.
I'm Corazon. That name is the best. I have a question. You've said about you have been a senior and
kindly come up.
You have been in the fundraising part, you have been a leader there, so, and you have also been supporting children back home. So my question is, have you ever been discouraged or have you ever regretted for supporting or for helping? For instance, we know human beings, they are prone to forget. So unfortunate. You support a girl, you work so hard for that girl, you enable her to go to school, then she gets pregnant, she leaves schools, and you feel like, hey, will I take another child to school? Like, is that discouragement? Have you ever come across it? And about fundraising, do you feel like sometimes it is too much, like people always call you to come to fundraising, like you are anything that needs help, they always call you, like, are you not tired of it? Do you take it positively? And lastly, what will you tell people who get discouraged by supporting because people you supported have failed you, or they go and forget where you moved them from? What will you tell them? And also those being supported, what will you tell them so that they don't heartbreak those who are supporting them?
Thanks for that question. All right. Is there another question or comment? Yeah, there's one over there. How are you? You're good. My name is Dan, a digital marketing expert, and I just want to ask for guidance, especially in this diverse field. So for the last 3 years, I've been in digital marketing. And in digital marketing, just the tech industry, it's very wide, and you get to become kind of a jack of all trades, right? So she mentioned that you should be able to find your niche and become a thought leader in that particular, niche. So I'd like her maybe to just give a limelight on how are you able to depict what is really, really good for you as an expert who's been in so many fields.
Sorry, say the last part again.
Pardon?
Repeat the last part.
The last part. The question. Yeah. How are you able to identify your niche and leverage it, especially if you've been an expert in the tech space and you've been able to handle so many things? How do you get that one right one?
Okay. All right. Thanks for those two questions. So I'll allow Corazon to respond to those two, and then we can finalize with the last part. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll start with the first question. Have I been disappointed? Yes, and not once, so many times. The reality is we are human beings, and there's so many dynamics that are there when you're dealing with human beings. But if you're doing it from a point of purpose, from a point of value, you tend to overlook, and I use that word very loosely, to overlook the disappointments because you have the bigger picture. And from experience, actually, one of the worst disappointments that I had was from my own cousin. So the ones who are not related to me are really doing well and benefiting from the efforts. But the one who is closest to me, who I would want to really, really benefit more than anybody else, is the one who disappointed. But then, of course, that disappointment has a root cause. He did not have a good childhood, and he grew up in a very violent environment. And even as this is presenting in him not wanting to be in school and not really taking full advantage, I get to learn also. There are lessons that I get, and the lesson is, as a mother, I need to give my children the best. So from that disappointment, there are lessons that I also get as a person that I'm able to help me to do better even in my own space. So disappointments are there, and it's just how you take them. But for me, I'm in it for the long haul. Even if all of them decide to disappoint, I know there's one person who will benefit. And I say that because I'm a beneficiary. My father grew up in a very poor household. And it is because of the late Sir Griffin of Starehe Boys Center, who took my dad from the village, brought him to Nairobi to Starehe, and because of that simple and kind act, we've been all able to go to school, all the 5 of us, and not just the 5 of us, even his siblings, he was able to school them. So that one small and kind act really transformed his family, has transformed my life, and also the people that now we are able to support. So disappointments will always be there. I am never surprised. But it's the reason why you are doing the why. I have been a beneficiary, and I know even if it doesn't benefit the people I see immediately, it will benefit someone somehow, someday. So don't tire doing good. As long as it's the right thing to do, please do it by all means, even if you don't get the results that you're looking for. Am I tired? No. And I will not be anytime soon. Of course, there's something now that is coming up that we're calling compassion fatigue. So, yeah, there are issues everywhere, and I believe maybe our pastoral team, I'm sure after church, you have to deal with all the challenges that people come to present to you. So there's compassion fatigue, and we are human beings. So for me, how I handle that is I am very self-aware, and I know when I've had enough, and I'm just using that enough, like when it's enough for me for that day. And so in that case, I will have to go and pour into myself. I will take a break. I will, refer them to someone else who can help them. And then, of course, until I'm recharged enough to be able to handle it. But I'm not going to give up. I can tire, but I will not give up. Tiring will not make me stop. So, yeah.
And also just to add on that, it has me thinking around when you look at the ecosystem we are living in the society, we are where we are as a result of maybe someone enabling us or supporting us. And so it's always good to acknowledge that even the God-given talents and skills that we have, how can we also use that to enable other people to be where we are or even to be better, but also just being cognizant, as she says, on being self-aware of how much is too much. Yeah.
Because you don't want to break. If you break, then you need someone else. So you don't want to break, but don't tire. I think the key word is don't tire. Keep going, but know when to take a break for yourself. What can I tell the people who are benefiting? I think it takes a lot. It takes a lot of sacrifice for someone to even accept to mentor. It's not even just financial. You know, people are busy, people have things to do. If someone gives you 1 hour of their time, please go prepared. Have your questions ready. So be ready to be helped. I think that is what I can say. Really be ready to be helped and show up fully. If you are doubting, if you have questions, please ask them. Finances are not easy to come by. Time is not easy to come by, and every other thing else. Even for someone to accept to do it, it takes a lot. So if you get that yes, for mentorship, for financial support in school or in whichever way, for capital, wherever, please, by all means, take it very seriously and ensure that it really benefits you as a person. And where you can, pay it forward. So don't just be the beneficiary. Benefit and remember to pay it forward as well. The last question was around finding your niche. To be honest, it is easier said than done. I think when I first did my mentorship, by the time I was really defining, I've always been passionate about things, cooking and, but by the time you really know what you want as a person, it takes time. I had to talk to my mom, what did I like when I was young? All those things. It is a journey, and sometimes you also evolve as human beings. So today, what might be interesting to you may not be interesting to you the following day. But also we live in a world where resources are not enough. So as much as you are defining your niche, which is critical to be specialized, also try to be all-rounded. And there's nothing wrong with being all-rounded. You can put out that one niche out there, but even as we sit in interviews and as we are hiring, we are looking for people who cannot just do one thing. Someone who is able to be flexible enough and can adapt to the job environment. Of course, your niche will help you in terms of even pay. If you are really, if you're a tax expert, now with the tax issues, the world will be looking for you. But then again, you could be the income tax expert, but then also in terms of corporate tax, you have at least an idea of what that means. But, it is good to have a niche, but what I'm also saying, it is good also to have at least broader knowledge of the area you are in. And as you say, you're already in digital marketing. So in that space, there's that thing that you do effortlessly. You're asked to do it, you're like, only that one. That is your niche. That there is your niche. But as you focus on it, also ensure that you are alive to the trends around you. Ensure that you are alive to, and actually what I do, I usually tell my colleagues that I'm a collector of job descriptions. Because I ask myself, where do I want to be in the next 5 years? Okay. This is what I want to be. This is the title that I want. So every day on LinkedIn, I'm looking for jobs on that. Not that I'm looking for a job, but I'm just looking for jobs with that job description, and I just put them down. And when I find time, I go in there and say, okay, what skills are they looking for? I write them down. Okay. Of these skills, which ones do I already have? Which ones don't I have? Then I start now building those ones that I don't already have. Such that in those 5 years, if I want to be the director of, one of my goals is to be the director of partnerships at World Bank. So I keep checking, what skills is the World Bank looking for? What is their director of partnerships doing? So I look for the last opportunity they posted and ensure that I'm building my skills towards that opportunity, such that when it presents itself, I already have an idea of what they're looking for. Yeah? And then also, who is it that knows someone there at the World Bank? And people are kind. People are really kind out here. People will open their phone books. I remember discussing with someone, and they introduced me to someone at the World Bank, and now that person is mentoring me, So put yourself out there. Know what you want, and really know what you want. Think about it, and start preparing for that person that you want to become. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for that. I couldn't say it any better. So lastly, as we wrap up, I'd like for you to maybe share one last thing to the audience around the role of mentorship. How can young people tap into mentorship to be able to prosper either economically or within their education? Yeah.
Mentorship, yes. I am a mentor myself, and it's also because I have been mentored before. Mentorship is critical. To be honest, you can have all the things that we've talked about, but unless you have people around you who are guiding you, people who've gone before you, people who've done it, of course you can make it, and I'm not saying you won't make it, but it just gives you that necessary, they say the air to my wings. They just help you to pivot further. I started my mentorship journey at a time when, the experience I shared when I started, when I just lost my dad, and he was my anchor. I wanted to resign. Everything was not making sense to me. Like, I was wondering why the world was going on, yet I was in mourning. And I met this very gracious lady, and I spoke to her at a forum, and I just started crying, and she got curious and asked for my number. And so, one thing led to the other, and she just told me, there's so much potential in you, and I want to be your mentor. And so we started the journey. The first 3 months, we used to meet monthly. There's really nothing substantial. It goes back to the question on niche, because she kept asking me, what do you want? Who are you? What? But then, after the 3rd month, what I can say that I learned from that mentorship journey, it gave me a career purpose. It helped me define where I wanted to go career-wise, where I wanted to go family-wise, where I wanted to go with my friendships, and just everything around me. So it gave me a lot of perspective. And so we were able to identify my weak areas. Even the whole story around World Bank is also just stemming up from the mentorship journey that I had. So we were able to identify my areas. I'm a very good partnerships person and relationship management and things of that kind. But I found myself in a space of health, public health. That is what AMREF does. I have no background in health. So as much as I was doing partnerships, I used to struggle with the public health component. So whenever I went for meetings, I had to tag along, someone who studied public health. But then I'm like, okay, and as I said again, these people may not always be available. So I won't turn down a meeting with a donor, with Safaricom Foundation, with the M-Pesa Foundation, simply because someone else is not available. So what did I do? I went back to school. And now I'm doing my 2nd master's in public health. And so aside from that, she also told me, yes, you've gone back to school, but there are other resources around you. Spend time with these people. So you'll find me tagging along, going into a meeting with a doctor, not because I'm needed, but because I want to understand how they're thinking. Okay, how are they dissecting these issues? Okay, well, how are they doing it? What is the brainstorming process like? So really, mentorship has helped me put a lot of things in perspective. That's what I can say. It has helped me define my career path, and it has helped me develop a strategic plan for myself. I never thought I would ever say something like that. But I know as a church, you even have a theme for the year. I'm sure you have a strategic plan. Where I work, we are very serious about those strategic plans, but why was I not serious about it for myself? So yes, currently I'm working on 3 pillars, just professionally. Of course, there are other aspects of my life, but professionally, I'm working on developing my partnerships journey. And because I have the experience, now what I need in that space, because the experience I have is in the NGO sector, I want to see how the private sector is thinking about partnerships. I want to see how Safaricom is thinking about fund partnerships. I want to see how World Bank is thinking about partnerships. Why do I want to see that? Not just to feed my curiosity, but to prepare me for the next one. If World Bank called me, I wouldn't say, okay, but me, I've just done it in this. I have already learned from the connections, and I'm glad that this mentor has opened up her phone book. So if I need someone at Safaricom, if she has that person, she will introduce me. If she doesn't have, she will tell me, we need to find someone. So, and you are 3 phone calls away. If you want President Ruto today, you are 3 phone calls away from getting President Ruto. That is one thing I've learned. So she's been able to, and if she doesn't have that contact, we'll always find someone who has a contact, and they will be willing to listen. So yeah, it's really helped me to develop that. I'm still learning on the partnership path. The other two areas is, I've said, building my knowledge on public health. So I'm back in school, but aside from being back in school, you will only learn well from doing it. So going with those people into meetings and tapping into their knowledge, a lot of reading. I read and watch trends. All the public health shows that I have time to watch, I will do that. I'm always bookmarking anything that I need to know on non-communicable diseases, on all those things that are now trends, on climate change. Now climate change is really big. How is it impacting health? And then, of course, my third pillar for my strategic plan career-wise is leadership. So I'm building my leadership skills. I have signed up for leadership courses on LinkedIn, and then as well, I'm trying to look for mentors in the space of leadership as well. So those three are
and then how you can tap into mentorship. So that was really exciting to hear from you, Corazon, and I'd like to appreciate you for that. So this brings us to the end of this session, and I'd like to hand over the mic to Kevin's.
I just wanted to say one more thing.
Sure.
Yeah, that the parting shot for me is talent is everywhere, and I believe each and every person in this room has talent, but opportunity is not. So please, don't sit on your talent, go out there and scout for those opportunities. Thank you.
Asante, we can give a round of applause to her. Thank you.
Partnership development, yeah, please reach out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we give them more clap? Ladies and gents, this next one is one of my favorites for this particular day that's coming in. So for us to just squeeze in for time, Juno's teaching me that we can have a working meeting at the Cathedral Auditorium. So could we just go real quick, grab a cup of tea, then come back? As we come back, we're heading straight into this session centered on tech. So just to save up on time, kindly please, I know my people and our panelists have waited for us, and they actually have to get off by 1 p.m. So let's just accord them that chance to ensure that they make this session real fruitful. Let's just jump pale nyuma, pick our tea, then let's come and have a working session, right? Rev Iggy, chai sikuchome, mdomo najua unapenda chai, but ni sawa. Let's just do that real quick, then we come back to this particular segment, after which we'll get to introduce the persons coming in. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.